So I just got back from the barber's. I got my hair cut. And when I was in there, I was talking to the barber, and this guy, it seems to always be open. He's always open every single day of the week, near enough, with maybe one day off a week. And it got me thinking about how hard this guy works for how little he actually makes, for how much work he puts in. And yeah, I want to talk about internet businesses, the leverage that we have right now versus someone like my barber who is working his tail off for pretty much minimum wage. So my barber used to charge, get this, £6 for a haircut. And it used to take him, say, 30, 40 minutes for a haircut with me. £6. And then I remember a few months ago, he put his price up to £9. And I remember I went in and he said, look, Alex, like, I need to apologise. I've had to put the price up £3. And he was almost like just telling me he was sorry he had to put his prices up. And it wasn't a problem for me. I would always tip him, always give him the change I had. And especially when you compare how much it cost for a female to get their hair cut, it's like 10, 15, 20 times, probably even more sometimes, depending on what somebody wants doing with their hair. So to pay an extra couple of quid to have a haircut is no big deal. I'm almost wanting to pay more. I'm almost expecting to say, yeah, it's like £20, £30 for a haircut now, which would be completely reasonable. But this just got me thinking. Right, so he works. I get my haircut super early in the morning, like 7:30 in the morning. I went this morning, and he's open till 7, 8 p.m. at night, like 6 days a week. And I was thinking, like, how much he could potentially earn if he was fully booked through the whole week. And he's probably not fully booked all week. But say if he's at 50, 60, 70% capacity every single day, how much can he actually earn versus how much money, how much time and energy he's actually putting in to cutting hair? Because I can almost guarantee it's probably not, the ratio is out, basically. So say if he's charging £9 a haircut and he's cutting, say, on a good day, 10 people's hair a day, £90 a day. That's if he's super busy and there's customer coming in one after the other. £90 times 6 days a week, say, is like £540 a week, is that? For working pretty much more than a 9 to 5 job, like 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night, 12 hours a day. Which is wild because it leaves him no time, no nothing to do anything else. And I remember back when I first discovered that you could actually build a business on the internet and the potential and the doors it actually opened in my mind. I remember going to Spain and I got introduced to this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. I'll put a picture on the screen somewhere. And it looks like quite a scammy front cover of a book, really. If you've never seen this book, there's a guy on his laptop relaxing between two palm trees, and it's called The 4-Hour Workweek. So you instantly read the title, and you look at the picture, and you think, this book is giving me weird vibes. You know, in that saying they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, if you judge this book by its cover, you've got the completely wrong end of the stick, because the actual book is about understanding the value of time, money, what true wealth is, and how to get more out of life. And yes, there are many businesses you could start where you could literally work 4 hours a week and earn an absolute shit ton of money, like ridiculous amounts of potentially passive income. We don't have to do much once it's all set up. And I remember getting this book. Someone said, you need to read this book, and devoured it, and still to this day go back and read the book every now and again, just for like a reminder as to make sure I'm on the right path in terms of where my time and energy is being spent, and if I'm utilising my time as well as I could be. I even remember when I was living at home around 23, 24 years old, and I was going through this phase of reading and just devouring books, just wanting to learn about entrepreneurship, online businesses, all this stuff. And my mum would be like taking the piss out of the fact I was reading a book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Like, look at this next book he's reading called The 4-Hour Workweek. Like, just laughing at the concept of it, which is kind of normal for most people who have grown up in the age of, you know, you go to school, you go to college, you go to university, you get a skill, and then you get paid to do that skill basically for the rest of your life. And my mum's a midwife, and she's done that for her whole career, her whole life. She doesn't know any different. Entrepreneurship to her wasn't really a thing. Doing her own thing wasn't really like her chosen path. Whereas it's always been my chosen path. Ever since I read this book, I was hooked on the fact that I wanted to make my own income and build my own lifestyle to literally have the freedom that I wanted. And I'm now at a point now where I feel I can safely say I can wake up in the morning and go to bed at night, and in between those two times, I can work on whatever I want. And I have such a driven mentality. I'm always working on something. It's never that I wake up in the morning and I'm just giving myself the benefit of just sitting doing nothing. I literally could do that, but I don't want to do that. It's not fulfilling to me. I love building things. I love building brands. I love building digital products. I love building an audience. I love making YouTube videos. I love mountain biking. All this stuff just keeps me thriving and wanting more. So there'll never be a day where I'll wake up in the morning and just sit and do nothing all day, unless I'm forced to. So the world of online business and online internet businesses it's absolutely crazy right now, and it's way different than it was when I first read the 4-Hour Workweek. I remember Tim Ferriss gave examples in that book of him creating courses and online programs where he would sell DVDs and CDs and scale a business that way. Whereas now, everything's all in the cloud, everything's so easily accessible, especially now with AI. There's even more opportunity to grow an internet business that can fund your freedom and lifestyle. And it's one of the reasons I chose to go down the YouTube route as part of this, because YouTube is a great platform to build an audience on. And then once you've built an audience of people who are interested in a specific topic, then you can offer them a product, a service. You can just literally sell them pretty much anything. And you can do that in any niche for any audience. So to me, that's like one of the best things about this era that we're living through. And it's accessible to everyone. There's no barriers to entry, which is why maybe I'm so against the school system and the traditional way that people believe that they have to live life. And then they're sold this lie of you leave school, then you go to college, and then you need to get a degree. And then when you've got that degree, this piece of paper that says you can do something, there's going to be this high-paying job at the end of it, which is never true. I've never really heard of anyone who's come out of university and they've just walked into the dream job of theirs, the highest-paying job ever, that allows them to have this freedom and flexibility. They usually end up coming out of university and then settling for a job in McDonald's until they sort their shit out. And even then, people do that, and then they go for a phase of actually wondering, well, is this actually what I signed up for? Do I actually want to do this? And often not. Some people change their minds completely and change direction completely. And then that almost would look like, have you just wasted 4 or 5 years of your life trying to get some certificate that doesn't really do anything or mean anything or give you any kind of value? All it's done is waste your time. That's kind of why I'm against the traditional way of doing things. The only way I see of having the freedom and flexibility that most people want is to start their own thing, to start your own business, to do things on your terms. It's very hard to do it as an employee. Sure, there's probably exceptions, but when you're working for somebody else and you're fueling their dreams, you're not building the lifestyle for you. You're facilitating something of theirs, their dreams, which is why I find it so fascinating. And I was at breakfast the other day with a friend, and she was just done a master's degree, just finished a dissertation, and at this crossroads, just wanting to spend time to wonder what she actually wants to do. So she's going to take the whole year to try and figure out what she wants. And she was asking, how did you find what you wanted to do? And I was actually thinking about this. If I look back, I've never decided on one thing that I ever want to do. I've never thought, I want to be a professional mountain biker. I want to be a YouTuber. I've just done all these things, and it's now morphed into this job description of many things. So when people ask me what I do, I generally don't really know how to answer. So I just say, oh yeah, I work in IT. I just work in marketing. Some real blanket term. And then I'll give them more information if they're more interested. But I don't really want to open a can of worms and say I'm a YouTuber or I'm this, I'm that. Because then there's going to be more questions to be asked, and I don't really want that. And yeah, she was asking, feeling a bit confused, I think, just of like, I've got all these creative passions in interior design, textiles. I just love being creative. How do I basically translate that into an income and build a business around it? And I also think she actually had a bit of fear around money as well, or like didn't have the best relationship with money. So maybe the question comes up of, well, do you know actually maybe need to work on like how much you value yourself, rather than putting such a low price tag on everything you do and then end up having to give things away for free because you don't think it's worth it. Like, and this person, it's kind of ironic really, because she bought a house, renovated it, and then sold it for a £30,000 profit in a matter of months. And I was like mind blown. Like, not many people have that skill to be able to walk into a property and see a vision of what something could look like. It seemed like she had no problem selling that property for 30 grand more profit than it was worth. Versus when she's actually thinking about offering her skills in creativity, textiles, maybe even architecture, there's this barrier that's like, just, oh, I'm not worth it at all. And a lot of people struggle with this when it comes to charging for their services. It's one thing doing things for free, but then when it comes to putting a price tag on what you do, I think a lot of people struggle with that. I've struggled with that in the past for sure, and still work on my money mindset and my money thermostat. And it has increased over time. So I'm at the stage now where I feel I know what value I can bring to the table for people. I feel it's come for experience. So I build confidence and motivation in myself when I achieve something, and then I teach that thing to other people and say, hey, look, this is what I did. It worked for me. I can basically give you a shortcut to get in there, kind of thing. Because it just gives me confidence that I've done it. And I know that it'll probably work for 99.9% of the people if they followed the steps that I did. That's kind of like how my brain thinks. But for some people, when they haven't put themselves out there and faced challenging conversations in terms of pricing themselves and being knocked back, getting answered no's, it can be really hard. But that's the thing about business as well, and doing YouTube as a business. You can't learn about business. Like, this is why I'm also against business degrees and business college courses and stuff, because the people teaching it, for one, probably have no experience in building a business. They're just there teaching from a syllabus or a book. And two, you can't learn business. Like, you can't just, like, you have to go and do the business. It's the same with push-ups, right? You can't expect to get buff and get big shoulders and chest and get the gains from push-ups by learning about push-ups and reading about the anatomy of a push-up. You have to get on your hands and knees and do a bloody push-up. You have to just do it and get yourself in the game. And if you've got the fear of starting anything, be it YouTube, recording your first video, confidence on camera, you have to break through that barrier and almost accept that you will be shit in the beginning. You will suck, but you will suck less and less and less over time, and then you'll start to become proficient at a skill and become better at it. That is what I've learned over the last, say, 8-9 years of doing my own thing online. I'm probably would class myself as unemployable. I think if I tried to get a job working for somebody else in, say, a 9-to-5 job, like, I don't know, customer service or a call center, I would literally lose my mind. I would definitely just last half an hour, and I would get pissed off by the rules that are put in place, the brick walls, the other people, probably the hierarchy, the egos, the actual money you're being paid, the fact you have to be there at a certain time and stay till a certain time. It just baffles me. It really baffles me. And it's fine doing these things for a short period of time. Like, if you need money, if you are in a sticky situation, but you know you're destined for more. You know you want to get this freedom, fulfillment, wealth from somewhere. I can tell you now, it's not going to come from employment. So you have to think about what skills can you bring to the world. That's the only really properly scalable thing, which is what the 4-Hour Workweek taught me, and other books as well. But that one is a staple in what I've read and come back to time and time again, because it teaches you to measure like freedom with 2 metrics and success. So most normal people will measure someone's success based on how much money they have in a bank account or how much available money they have. But if this one person who has a shit ton of money and then no time versus somebody who has slightly less money but almost unlimited time to do whatever they want, who is wealthier and who has more freedom? Well, you probably think the latter person has. Like, because time is finite. We can't get our time back. We can make as much money as we actually want. There's so much money out there, it's ridiculous. And when you actually realize how much money is floating around, you will get very hooked on how to make more of it and very motivated, I can tell you that. Versus time. Time is something we cannot get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. The 15 minutes you've watched so far in this video, I hope I've delivered enough value, because if I haven't, then I've just wasted your time and you can't get that 15 minutes back. But if I've enhanced your life in these 15 minutes and maybe open your eyes to certain things, doing things a different way, thinking about things slightly different, then that's a win-win, a massive win. But yeah, I think don't settle for second best. If you have dreams, passions, desires, go after them. Go get a copy of the 4-Hour Workweek if you've not read it, and start measuring your success by both money and how much time you actually have.